Hey beautiful, welcome back. In today's video, girl, I feel like chilling. It is a cold, dark, rainy day here and it is Friday. So I thought we could relax. I got my favorite sweatshirt and we could check out some of my favorite products for fall time. Hey, why not share some love with me today? Hit them like and subscribe buttons down below before you go. So I suppose we should start with the face and cheek products. I don't think I will have the time to finish my eyes and my makeup today, but we can at least try some of this stuff on and I will show you why I love this stuff so much. And I just did my bronzer. I'll show you that really quick. So I've been obsessed with this Hourglass Ambient Bronzer for like a hot minute now. I'm going to keep wearing this throughout the fall and the winter because it is super pretty and it's like such a light bronzer. I don't know how it would do for darker skin tones, but light to medium, baby, this is the stuff. And it's like, it's not matte, but it's not like glittery or anything. It's just like semi-sparkly, almost baked as well. And then for my blush, which I gotta throw on right now. So this, I know it doesn't say it on the cap, but this is Bella Pierre, and it's the Mineral Blush in Autumn Glow. And I love this stuff. This actually came in my first Ipsy bag, and I wasn't digging it at first because it kind of looks like a brownish powder and it's not very blush-like, and generally I reach for something more like this. It's more like a coral pink and gives you a really nice blush on the cheeks, but this is awesome. I like to tone my blush and cheek makeup down just a little bit during the fall and winter time because the light's not as bright. There's more like bluish tones out there versus like the brighter sunlight that we see in the late spring and summer. So this is perfect, especially if you have light to medium skin tone, but I think this would look really pretty on just about anybody. And this Balm Spring, I got this just a little bit ago in one of my Ipsy bags, and it's very similar, though it's a little bit more of a brick red than it is like a peachy brown, I guess. It's still very similar and kind of subtle, so it's perfect. And I'm just going to throw a little bit. You really don't need very much of this stuff, girl, but I think it looks so nice and it's just perfect for fall time looks. Next up, we're going to talk about my favorite fall time highlights. So, I mean, I use like gold year round, I suppose, but I like a lighter gold shade for my highlight during the fall. And I also tend to lean towards more reddish tones, like a more bronzy, brassy, coppery highlight. So here are a couple of my favorites. This is the Wet n Wild Crown of My Canopy. And it's a really pretty highlight. It is a little bit dark for super light skin tones, but if you put it on lightly, I think you could still get away with this. Actually, I'm going to throw some on right now and show you. So I just take my little fan brush and throw her on up on my cheeks. And I love this one because it's $5 for a good giant pan of highlighter. I love Wet n Wild highlighters. They do really well. And they've been stepping up their game on just about everything lately. And I'm sorry that my voice has been so scratchy lately. I am so sorry. I can't even imagine how annoying that is. But it's my allergies, girl. I cannot help it. They are driving me insane. Ooh, see, even with just a little bit, it looks like really blinding, and it doesn't leave like a streak of color on my cheek either. Even definitely be super gorgeous for darker skin tones, by the way. Medium to dark, this is your highlighter. I also like the Anastasia Beverly Hills Gleam Glow Kit for fall time. Now, I don't generally use this one too much, no matter the season, but these three over here, these two are more of like a reddish tone. This one's definitely more reddish. This is a little bit closer to like pink peach, and this one, even though it looks really dark and more like a bronzer topper in here, it's a really pretty like almost gold chocolate color of a highlight. And check that out. Here, we'll just swatch them all. How about that? So that one is Mimosa, and it's more of like a light brown gold. This one is the hard candy, which is the most red one that is in here. I really like that one because it's another one where it's like bronzy red, but it's not like a streak of red. I love me some warm red tones, honestly. Then this one is Starburst. And yeah, that one's more of like a peachy pink, a lighter tone, but these two down here, oh. As far as the gold highlights are concerned, this is more yellowy, so I like this better in the summertime. This one is kind of dark. I actually got it up there by the top. But this one right here, dripping in gold, is a really pretty, like, traditional gold color, and it looks so beautiful in the fall. Right above the darker one. And then also, I really like this gold in the Carly by Belle palette because it is more of a traditional, like, lighter gold shade, and it just, oh, it looks so pretty. All right, darling, let's move on to eyes and eyeshadows. So I've got a bunch of Morphe palettes here that I adore for the fall time, and they're so perfect. So first up, y'all know I am a huge fan of the 35F, and that's because it's got like a semi-rose gold feel to it. It's got a couple of different shades of gold, some berries, some browns, some creams, everything. Plus it's got a couple of like cooler tones here and here, and it's got some mattes down below. Now I wish that they had a couple more mattes in here, or at least like made some of these shades down here a little bit darker. So I feel like they show up darker on the camera than they do in real life, and especially when applying it. Pretty much these right here are darn near the same color. So outside of that, I really like this one for fall time, but these are really my favorites for fall. So they have the 35O, and that's kind of like an all-in-one warm tone palette. They got some mattes, some shimmers, the whole 9 yards. But I decided to go out on a limb, and I got the 35O M and S set. So let's start with the matte one. Obviously the M and the S stand for matte and shimmer, so this one is a matte palette. But if you look here, girl, it's got everything that you could really need as far as basic warm tone neutrals. And even a couple of these shades, like this one, these three right here are fairly cool tone. This one as well. But it's got like all the basic mattes that you could ever want for fall. This is basically the twin to the matte palette. It's got all the same shades but in shimmers, and there are a couple of like satins, and honestly this one is closer to matte than anything else, but they are really pretty. A lot of these are like super heavy, creamy shimmers, and it's just like bam, in your face kind of metalliciness that I absolutely adore. And yeah, it's just got everything that you could really need for fall time. It's got everything from some chocolate browns to a couple of gold shades, the warmer like orange and red tones, and just some creams up top. Everything, baby. So I would highly recommend these just because like they go so well together. You have all the shades. Girl, you already know. You already know how I feel about Morphe. And speaking of, I've got one last one for you. Now, I wasn't going to pull this one out because, you guys know, this was more of like a summertime thing, but honestly, it's got a lot of like nice like neutrals and like the warmer tones. It's got a good bit of warm tones in here, and it's got a decent selection of mattes, a little pop of color. I think this could really work for fall time if you can get your hands on it, just because it's got all the basics. I know I'm going to be reaching for this a lot throughout the fall, just because it's got a lot of my favorite shades in there. So before we move on to the lips, and I completely forget, I wanted to talk to you all about setting sprays. So for the summer, I've basically been using the Ready Set Radiant for my full face setting spray, and I've just been using this for the shadows, like for my shimmer colors for my lid. But I think I'm going to switch back to this for the fall and winter. It's more of a dewy setting spray, and my skin gets crazy dry, girl, in the fall, the winter, the spring. So this really helps that, and because my skin is so dry, like the products on my face look really powdery, this will get rid of that powderiness, no problem, baby. So as far as like lip products for the fall time goes, I really like a good solid red lip because I wear a lot of like gold and copper and bronze on my eyes during the fall, so this like really matches it, and especially if like I'm toning down my look a little bit, a nice bright colorful red lip looks, it just brings the look together in ways I can't even explain. On the other hand, I actually really like to use a lot of nudes and like a lot of the darker colored nudes. Like here's a nice pretty like dark nude pink color, like a dusty rose, and I love this just about any time of the year, but especially for fall because it also goes really well with like the gold and such on my lids. And then I also really like these. This is an Anastasia Beverly Hills lip gloss, and it's kind of like a nude brown, but a little bit of pink in the background, and I think this goes really well with just about anything, but I'm always reaching for this. I'm always reaching for this. This is my Lime Crime matte liquid lip in Riley, and it's more of like a dark brown, and it is like a semi-warm tone, but it doesn't come off orange at all. So I really like that one. And then on the other hand, I'm super into dark colors for fall time. So I really like this Tarte like lip crayon. It's really dark, but when it goes on the lips, it doesn't look like that, I promise. I think it looks really good with the metallic shades again, and it can match just about anything if you want a darker lip. But I also like the darker reds and berry colors. This is the caked lip fondant that I got in my Ipsy a while back in low key. I love this because it is flavored and it's so awesome. It's an amazing formula. In fact, it's probably one of the longest lasting liquid lips that I have. Love it. I also really enjoy the Huda Beauty Liquid Matte, and this is like a really, girl, this is really dark. Really, really dark. Though it does dry down a little bit lighter than it looks on the little applicator right here. But it's still a nice dark red berry color, and I love it to pieces. And one last one before I talk your ears off. Girl, this is one of my go-to lipsticks. This is the Real Her in Boss, and it's just like such a really pretty, like almost like a dark pink berry, and it looks really pretty for all of my rose gold looks. That is it for today. Let me know what you think of my favorite fall time products, and if you have any of these, if you use them regularly, if you like them for fall time too. I'm always curious to hear what y'all have to say. Meantime, I've got a lot of awesomeness coming up for you next week. My Boxy Charm is supposed to be here tomorrow, and I want to spill the beans right now, and if you are on my Snapchat, you already know what happened, but I got a huge surprise from Boxy Charm that I'm going to be showing you hopefully next week or the week after. Ah, girl, I'm so excited. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Share some love with Becca Beauty today. Go out and spread some love and positivity today, because, honey, we could all use some extra. But you're beautiful, and I love you. Mwah. Bye, everyone.